Greetings to all Rotary members across the globe. I'm humbled by the opportunity to serve as Rotary President for 2023 and 2024. In the year ahead, we will make progress towards eradicating polio and create hope in the world through service projects in our areas of focus. But I want to spend a couple of minutes discussing another important way Rotary will create lasting change this year, by focusing on mental health. People today are hurting. Many of them don't know how to ask for help. But everyone needs a safe place where people of all ages and in all cultures can share triumphs and open up about life's challenges. Rotary can be that place. In Rotary, we show comfort and care to each other. We invite our members to bring their whole authentic selves, and we move beyond the simple question of, how are you, to ask, how are you really? Research shows that performing acts of kindness is the most effective step anyone can take to protect our sense of well-being and to make us more resilient to all the challenges life throws our way. Mental wellness is deeply personal to me. I know what it's like to see someone close to me suffer through adversity in silence and be eaten up by it. But I have also witnessed the power of personal connections, the value of holding space to discuss emotional and mental well-being, and the life-saving impact of access to preventive care and treatment. So let's work together to erase stigmas, raise awareness and improve access to mental health services, so that together we can support one another and our loved ones, our clubs and our communities, create hope in the world.
Good afternoon, everyone. Great to see you here and have you on the very first Zones 33 and 34 ZOOMformation call of the new Rotary year, and a happy new Rotary year to all of you out there. Thanks to all of you who imagined Rotary last year in the best way it could possibly be, along with President Jen and her team. And also to those of you who are not only imagining, but also creating hope in the world this year. As you heard from President Gordon, it's so important that we carry out that goals, and mental health to be one of those major focuses that we look at in making sure that not only the world is in a better place, but also members of our clubs feel better. Appointment of well-being chairs, people to look after us, I think is going to be an important focus this year as we create caring clubs that our members can feel good about being members of. So this morning, I had the opportunity to spend some time with Gordon, as well as Vice President-elect now, our very own Stephanie Yurchik, and General Secretary John Huker. We had an executive committee meeting, and as I think I mentioned to you before, I've been honored to be asked to chair that executive committee this year, so I'll be spending quite a bit of time with them as we move forward. And they wanted me to individually ask me to send their best to you. They knew we had that ZOOMformation call. In fact, Gordon recollected this time last year when he came on that call and was talking to us about his plans for the year. And boy, how time flies. It really doesn't seem that long ago that we were welcoming in the Explorers class of district governors. And I'd like to thank them now, take time to thank them, to thank each of you for the tremendous job you did. But add my thanks to those of immediate past President Jen. And I know the relationship you have with Close, and I'm sure the relationship that the captains have with Gordon is going to be equally close, and they're going to be doing just as an amazing job as we build continuity between those teams and move forward. And not only the governors' classes, of course, but everyone who's worked alongside them. District chairs, the teams that worked on membership, foundation, public image, all those aspects of the district that are so important to support our clubs. And of course, the club presidents themselves and their teams. Rotary only happens on the ground in those clubs. So whatever we do here, it only matters if we can create better, more vibrant clubs, better experiences for our members, and create greater impact in our communities. To the outgoing leaders, I'd ask you to do one thing. Please stay involved. Find a place for yourselves. I know you need a bit of a rest. You may want a bit of a vacation, but don't drop from the face. You be the one that proactively and intentionally stays involved. You have so much to offer. Rotary International, our zones, our districts and our clubs, all of those need you, and the experience that you bring and the opportunity you represent to build continuity is absolutely invaluable. So I'd like to leave sort of a couple of messages to the captains, DG class, and anyone who's coming in as a leader this year, whether it be a district or a club level or otherwise, and indeed at zone level. First of all, enjoy the journey. Enjoy the process. This is really so important when we get involved in Rotary, as we get to the work side of it. It's as much about your experiences as it is about every Rotarian's experience. And as long as we focus upon that, enjoying that process wherever possible, I think we'll be going in the right direction. Secondly, and I may sound like a broken record here, but here I go. Continuity is key if we're to be all that we can be as an organization. Our members' experiences and the impact we have are enhanced so much when we build year on year, where we retain that institutional knowledge and we pass it on to our incoming leaders. We just came out of a very successful and excellent Zone 34 leadership seminar in Jacksonville, and I want to thank Sandra, Sue, and Mike for doing a great job putting that together. And an equally successful one a little earlier in the year at the Virginia Crossings. Billy and her team pulled that together. And absolutely, want to make a couple of points in relation to that. My message closing in Jacksonville was that it's not just about doing the big things and transformational change. Often transformational change is achieved when we do the small things right. The minor tweaks that matter, the proper orientation of a new member, the putting enough value in an installation or an induction ceremony for a new member, keeping them engaged, creating enjoyable meetings, well-planned meetings, ensuring that our community service projects are relevant to our communities. Those small things that make Rotaries, can make the difference between right and wrong, can make the difference between an excellent year and a year that's not so good. So let's just tweak those small things. It's not all about throwing the baby out with the bathwater. In fact, we should try and avoid doing that. Just make sure that we build on the small things and get those right. And as I said, continuity in key, and it can be the little things that make the differences here. And the other thing I'd like to mention is, of course, this is a journey for you. So enjoy the journey, as I mentioned. I'd like to also congratulate my successor, Patrick, who has gone from being a Ridden, R-I-D-N, to a ride. I know he's going to enjoy the ride as he becomes director-elect. So Patrick, looking forward to continue to work with you to build that continuity. And we've got so many tools to enable us to do that now. And the flexibility that came about in clubs, in the 2016 Council of Legislation, and this year, look out for more validation and authority to go and do things on a different regional basis, on a regional basis that most appropriately affects the challenges we have and the opportunities we have and solves the problems that we have. And that's that whole concept of regional adaptability in action that you're going to be hearing more about. And in addition, we need to get away from this concept of my year. Whilst we have great themes, great goals, it's important that we build that continuity. And sometimes that my year is a concept that really takes us in another direction in that case. So let's look at ourselves as handing over. The most important thing we do is handing over our organization, our clubs, our districts in a stronger and better condition at the end of this coming year. Today, we're going to hear about a group that, because of their 3-year terms, have perhaps the biggest opportunity in Rotary to make a difference because of the continuity that inherently comes with that 3-year term. And that's our regional coordinators. Today, we're going to meet them and hear about their plans. We have some new additions, and we also have some holding over from last year. But firstly, I want to congratulate those who are outgoing and rolling off and done such a great job this past year or 3 years in most cases. Please stay involved, as I said, retain that involvement, make sure that you engage with your incoming coordinators and stay part of the process. You have a key role to play in our regional action plans, for example, as well as working directly with our districts. And I'm again proud to say that zones 33 and 34 are leading the way on the international stage in developing these regional plans, as I mentioned. And they're now going to include 3-year rolling goals at all levels within our organization for our main priorities: membership, M-Polio, Rotary Foundation, communications, and public image. Yes, you heard me. For the first time, the directors, along with the secretariat, with the trustees, President Gordon, President Stephanie, and whoever a successor will be, are going to work on building 3-year goals, rolling 3-year goals, which will be supported by plans in each of those key areas. More of that to come, because that's something definitely that I want to expand upon in the future. And of course, we'll want to make sure that these goals are consistent with the regional coordinator goals. So part of this process this year will be making sure those goals will be aligned. But it's essential we all push in the same direction as an organization. More about this later. But at this point, I'd now like to hand over to the first of our coordinators, someone who I know you'll know well, none other than Lorraine Angelino from Zone 33, our Regional Rotary Foundation coordinator there. Lorraine, over to you.
Thank you, Jeremy. Okay. Okay, in Zone 33 and 34, we do have 2 Regional Rotary Foundation coordinators, myself and Sandra Hempstead. And Sandra's on the phone, but she is driving back from her vacation. So she has turned it over to me for the day. I wanted to kind of a snapshot of where we are right now. This time of year is kind of a fun time of year as we get the final numbers coming in across the screen. And the numbers that you see are as of July 5th. And these are Zone 33 and where they stand in the world. And there's 34 zones. And right now you can see where we stand as far as our order from our contributions. And I'd like to thank everyone for everything that they've done in the past year to make these contributions, and maybe a DRFC, calling the district foundation chairs, calling clubs, and clubs responding, and individuals responding. And it takes all levels of Rotary to get these contributions into the Rotary Foundation. And it's almost like a horse race, this time of year, because everybody's jockeying for position. And this year we've done very, very well in Zone 33. And as you can see, in a lot of the different areas, we are actually in 3rd place or 5th place or 16th place. And but you look at it, and overall we're doing very, very well. And these numbers are a little bit low, I think, since these were recorded on the 5th. We've had over $100,000 more dollars in contributions to Zone 33. So I'm not going to read the numbers. If you want to look at them, please feel free. We will be updating these. One thing that we do look at is who are our top 5 districts in total contributions in the zone. And right now, 7th overall in the world, as far as districts, is 7690 with over $2 million. So, and it goes down from there. And those that have over $1 million in total contributions are 2 million. This is a very big deal for those districts. And so I just 7680 and 7710 and 7600 and 7610 are right behind them. So, but we like to see, the clubs that are districts that do over $1 million. Another thing we look at is districts that do over 190 per capita. Really, we're looking for the 200 per capita, but many of these that are at 197 and 198 have actually gone over the 200 point at this point. This morning, several districts went over 200, and 7630 and 7750 went over 200, and some of them are at less than a couple cents away from that point. 7770 is at 199, I believe, and 42 cents. And so they're getting very, very close. We don't have the final numbers yet, like I said, but they are coming in, and I know district governors, well, now immediate past district governors are looking at these numbers very closely as they get the final numbers. And the numbers that we'll see probably by the end of the week will be what they call the final unaudited numbers. So, and then when we go to zone 34, here's some other, they've got a lot in the 9th, 8th, 13th, 11th, 10th. So 7th, we're all in the top. And so, and there's actually, it has increased, since these numbers were put out, over $175,000 has come in addition to the dollars that are showing on the screen. I also understand that there's a major gift to Polio Plus that has not come in, which will take them, if my understanding of that contribution, will probably take them up to the 2nd place in Polio Plus. So a lot of good things are happening. Again, here are some of the top 5 districts with over $1 million for 6960 and so on. And then here's some of the ones that are at 190 per capita. And another district has come in, 6990 actually has 192 per capita. And so there's the numbers are, but the numbers look good. We are down, both districts are down a little bit with on this year, but we had great years last year, so you can't, sometimes you just can't get the same numbers as you do the year before. Last year we also had a lot of money under annual fund for Ukraine. So, but our annual fund share levels have increased. I want to introduce you to the Zone 33 Foundation team. A lot of you have these cards. We have them electronic as well as physical cards to hand out. If you need a card, you want a physical one and you don't have one, let me know and I can send them to you. And then this is Zone 34 and their team. Because there's a lot of people on the foundation teams. We're here to help you. If you have any questions or need any help, please feel free. Of myself or Sandra will get the right person to you. And we're willing and able to help. Okay, next, I'd like to introduce the Rotary coordinators, Mike Dara and Terry Weaver. Take it away.
Thanks, Lorraine. Awesome work on the foundation last year, and that goes to everybody. As you all know, the Rotary coordinators handle all things membership. That means helping clubs and districts in training, speaking to clubs, helping your clubs use all the new membership action plan tools to improve their club. On this slide, you'll see the Rotary Zone 34 coordinators with the districts they cover. I handle North Florida, Daryl's in Southwest Florida, Mary works with special projects, Giselle is building Rotaract, a new emphasis. Coop is from Georgia, and Lyle handles the Caribbean. And then for our new club team, we've got Dan in the North, Felix in the Caribbean, Joe in East Florida, and Andy in West Florida. This past year, we formed 17 Rotary clubs. Next year, we plan to create even more Rotary and community Rotaract clubs. If you get a question or an opportunity, please give any of us a call. Terry, how about telling us who Zone 33 folks can go to for membership help?
Thanks, Mike. These are the assistant Rotary coordinators in Zone 33, beginning with Cherie Sears, Western Pennsylvania, Hugh Dawkins, the Chesapeake area, myself looking after a couple districts in South Carolina, Charles Allen doing Western North Carolina, April Clark is our specialist in club communication. Doug Wolf has the Eastern 3 districts in North Carolina. Then we have a Rotary actor, Elizabeth Roach, and Elizabeth is our specialist in Rotary. Then John Yermak. John Yermak has the West Virginia and Western Virginia districts. We have 2 new innovative club advocates for Zone 33, a tag team of Sean Sawyer and Sandy Olson. And Sean and Sandy will be working with an innovative club advocate in each of our districts in Zone 33. And now, Mike has some things to say about district membership plans.
So we don't have the final numbers yet, but it appears that Zone 33 and 34 led North America in growth again this year. When we look at what the best districts do, it pretty much comes down to 5 things. And you can see them right on the top of each district's membership plan. And that's what this is, a district membership plan. Training clubs, communicating to clubs, creating new and innovative clubs, helping challenge clubs with hands-on teams, and handling leads that we get from visitors to the RI website. One person cannot do this. You need a team of folks. Terry's going to tell you the story about a couple of folks from one of our most challenged areas and how they built a team and they helped a lot of clubs start growing. And spoiler alert, if you think Rotary clubs can't grow, you need to go to West by God, Virginia to see what they did with a plan and with a team of good people. Terry?
Thanks, Mike. Here's a great example of a district plan that I recently received from DG Jordan Feathers of 7545, the state of West Virginia. And I want to mention that this is a suggested district plan template that you can pull down from the zone site. It's completely editable. And you'll notice they've added in some of their own twists to the functionality that Mike showed you in the out-of-the-box plan. Now, one thing stands out immediately. This membership committee has more than one member. These are subcommittee leaders of each of these important functions. And then I want to also call your attention to their hands-on club resource team. Hands-on club resource team. Now, 2 years ago, I noticed that 7545 was pulling out ahead of other districts in net membership gains. So I asked Sean Sawyer, membership chair at the time, what he was doing. And he said, as we had suggested on the zone plan, that they put together a hands-on resource team of 7 people. Then they handpicked 14 failing clubs based on the membership data they had available. And they split them up, 2 clubs each, not a heavy lift, and went out to visit them. That's the important part. They didn't just email them. They went out to visit them and they had the conversation. Not, I'm from the district and I'm here to help you. More like, I've taken a look at your club's membership history. Can we talk about it? In most cases, they were not aware of their membership history. They got reactions of surprise and perhaps disbelief, but that opened the door to conversation about the cause of the problem, possible paths toward growth. Of course, not all clubs responded, which is fine. We can't fix them all anyway. Now, there are several morals to this story. First, your failing Rotary clubs probably can't fix themselves. If they could, they probably already would have. So you recognize that you need a proactive approach for these troubled clubs where the district takes the initiative. I tried this once upon a time when I was governor, where I asked for invitations to visit the clubs. That doesn't work. The clubs may not see the problem. They may be too embarrassed to ask for help, or they may have completely missed the memo where the help was offered. As an aside, be sure you don't put too much energy into clubs that can't be saved. Clubs of 6, 8, 9 members. Do a little triage to pick clubs that have a chance with some help. And finally, you have to take the clubs where they are. That's the principle of coaching. See what they are willing and capable of doing, and then just walk the walk with them. So did this work? Well, West Virginia had had a net membership loss every year for a decade. And after they implemented their hands-on resource team, they became the #2 district in net gain in Zone 33, over 2% growth in 21-22. And then they continued with a net gain this past year, 22-23, 2 years of back-to-back growth after a decade of chronic membership decline. And I believe this hands-on plan had a whole lot to do with that. Now, all of you on this call are district leaders. So here's my ask of you. Ask your district membership chair and your DG to have a look at their district membership plan to see if you can become part of their hands-on resource team. You'll help more clubs to grow, and more importantly, you'll help improve the experience for members in these clubs. And it's that experience that makes Rotary great. So we hope to see your name on your district's plan this year. Now over to Billy Black and Susan Corder with a word about public image.
Thanks, Terry. I am so excited this year to be working with Susan. She has just come on board and Marshall is leaving, but actually we get to stay with Marshall because he's going to hang out with us for a little while longer. This past year has been great. I feel like people are finally realizing that there's help to find the correct logo and they need to use the correct logo. It's really important. So this is the team that's working this year. It's 2023-24. We have a mother-daughter team. Dawn and Taylor are on different ends of the world for us. Felicia has been recognized as a DGN now, and so she'll be rolling off, even though she's just rolling on, but we get her in Pennsylvania this year. Hamilton covers our Chesapeake Pets area. Chris, who is our monitor on today's call, is handling the areas in Western North Carolina. And I've got West Virginia and the western part of Virginia. So we're real excited to be serving you and we'll help you however we can. But before we leave, I'd like to say thank you. And some of you have worked with these folks in your districts. I know that Joe worked with West Virginia quite a bit, Ken Fleeson in Pennsylvania. Hannah was our Rotaractor and she worked with lots of the different clubs to encourage the growth of Rotaract. And Ashley is our wonder kid as she does our website and taught us all how to use Canva. So we will be sorely missing them. Please note that you can learn more at our website at the bottom right of this screen. And one of our great new initiatives is the ability to work together with Zone 34 and build an even stronger team. And I'm going to let Susan tell you all about that.
Thanks, Billy. And I echo your comments. I'm so excited for the collaboration between our two zones. And to kick off this year, we have a webinar coming up this month on the 24th, where you can meet our team virtually. And we're going to help you develop a roadmap for a successful Rotary year. Anyone can join. You don't have to be the public image chair. So please go to elevaterotary.org and you can sign up for the webinar. Our teams will be hosting monthly webinars as well on various public image related topics. And before I get into that a little bit more in detail, I'd like to introduce the Zone 34 public image team. We have Sean and Michael who are rolling over from last year. And then we have two new members who've joined our team with some amazing talent. Amanda's covering all of Georgia and Caroline is in Northeast Florida. So please reach out to us. We're your resources. Invite us to your meetings, your events, and let us know how we can help. We're also collaborating with Zone 33 on the AMA session. Our first one is August 22nd. This stands for Ask Me Anything. You can hop on within the hour and ask us anything with regards to public image, how to use AI tools, how to operate in Canva, questions on email communications, social media, essentially anything, and hopefully we'll have the answer to assist you. Our public image citation tasks are back. We are excited that it's launched in Zone 33 this year as well. So all clubs in Zones 33 and 34 can participate in the public image citation. And this consists of monthly tasks that clubs can complete throughout the year. You can find the task and submit the task at elevaterotary.org. And we encourage you to do that. If you follow these tasks throughout the year, you'll stay on track with your public image plan and your public image goals. And again, elevaterotary.org has a lot of really good resources for you. We have a new calendar that Caroline created. You can subscribe and sync to yours, and it has all of the monthly observances that RI issued, and those have been updated this year. So make sure you get the new ones on your calendar. We have the citation task, webinars, and a lot of really great tools that are available to you. So check out our website, flag it on your search engine, and make sure you utilize those resources that are available to you. We also have social media channels for zones 33 and 34, so please interact with those, follow, post content, and share our ideas as well. And before I turn it over to Marshall, I want to give him a lot of props. He did an amazing job his last 3 years as Rotary Public Image Coordinator, and I have some really big shoes to fill, but fortunately he's not going too far. So Marshall, with that, I'll turn it over to you and let you tell us about your new role.
That sounds great, Susan. I appreciate that introduction. And it's been just a great treat working with these teams, and really have had a great team put together for the last 3 to 6 years. And I know the best things are coming. Wanted to talk to you briefly about what we have to look forward to. And that is tighter integration between the zones 33 and 34 public image teams. One of the most important things that we're about to do is we'll be launching very soon a communications action plan. And super excited about this. We're right now in the planning format phase, where we're starting to put together the team, identifying goals and objectives, and starting to work on that 3-year plan. And one of those is going to be to make sure that we roll out the citation across zones 33 and 34, which is actionable tasks every month that are very easy to follow for all the clubs, to help them create these sustainable and repeatable processes around public image and telling the Rotary story. In addition to that, we are providing all the resources like the elevaterotary.org website, making sure that there's a consistent message, and also making sure that we provide those monthly webinars. So stay tuned. You'll be hearing more and more about this as we put the team together, as we put together the goals and the objectives together, and just can't wait to continue to work with this team even more. So with that, I will hand it back off over to, let's see, I'm going over to Bernie and Lindsay to talk about polio.
Okay, thanks, Marshall. What we're going to do today is we want to go back and we want to review this 22-23 Rotary year for polio giving. And first, a little background. I'm going to do Zone 33, and Lindsay's going to do 34. So just a little information about Zone 33. There's 17 districts, 927 clubs, and over 35,000 members in the zone. And the results you're going to see today, as Lorraine pointed out, are really interim results. That's the takeaway here, interim results. And what you're going to see under polio is as of last Friday, the 7th of July. So here we go. We got 17 districts. And of those 17, 15 districts have given at least 20%. We're all familiar with the foundation asking our districts to give at least 20%. So we have 15 of the 17. And we have 16 of our districts that actually gave something to polio. So we got a little work to do, but that's not too bad. Now, we have some individual goals that we do in Zone 33 here. Our first one is we want to average $60 a member. Now we're looking at take cash plus DDF, and we want to average $60 a member. Understanding again that we have over 35,000 members. So survey says, okay, yes, $69. We achieved that, so that's good. That's a check mark. Our next goal is we want to average $45 a member, cash only. Forget the DDF for this. We want to average $45 per member. And survey says, did we do that? $51. Yes, we did. So a check mark there. And now this goal comes from the Rotary Foundation. And they have asked us to have every club give $1,500, but we interpret that to mean every club average $1,500 a club. This is cash only. So let's see, again, we had over 900 clubs. Let's see how we did. almost 2,000, $1,917 per club. So that's pretty good. So that's a check mark. Good, we achieved that goal. So let's look at the total numbers for polio giving in Zone 33. For cash, we gave 1.7 million and change. For DDF, we gave 623,000. So that gives us a total as of last Friday, and hopefully over the next week or so, it will go up. But right now, that total is 2.4 million and change. So our goal this year, our total goal was 2.5 million. So we're hoping there's a few checks in the mail there, and maybe we can get up to 2.5. Now, this is an interesting graphic here, just so you're aware. You can see that number 2.4 million there in green down on the totals line. If you look to the right, we get a match from the World Fund. So there it is, $311,000. But look at the Gates match. The Gates match is 5.4 million. We put in 2.4, and the total result, if you look at all the matches, cash, DDF, the total dollar impact to fight polio is 8.1 million and still counting. So that's a good number, just kind of to give you a different perspective on some of the dollars that we do for polio. So we want to recognize some of the districts. We're going to blow down and look at some of these numbers, in particular the ones and twos as we go through this. So right now, if you take cash plus DDF, you got District 7770 on top with 299,000. I'm very familiar with that district, and I am hoping that we have another $225 in the mill there so we can hit 300,000. Next up would be cash plus DDF, and this is per capita now, per capita. And if you look at those top two districts, 7600 and 7680, over $100 a member. I mean, this is extraordinary. So congratulations to them. Now we're looking at that $1,500 that goal that we had. So this is per club average. This is just cash now, based on cash. And then the remarkable thing here is look at the top four districts. They averaged over twice the $1,500 per club. Just phenomenal work by these districts. And we have the next category is per capita by cash. And I'm looking at this, and there's the last three slides here. 7600 up in Virginia is just, they're just killing it this year. If whatever it is they're doing up there, if it's in the water or something, they need to bottle it and share it with the other districts, because that is quite amazing. 106 cash per member. Just fantastic. And the percent change is, we give it at 7680. They're up 81% from last year. Just phenomenal. Now, so moving on, I'm getting a little note from somebody. We want to say thank you, a big thank you. And the first thank you goes to my mentors, Chuck Davidson and Rocky Jacobs. Now Chuck stepped down as of June 30th and Rocky about a year and a half ago. But here's the thing with them. The results you just saw don't happen overnight. It takes time. They have built over the years a culture of giving to polio, and I thank them for doing that. These results are a direct result of what they have done. And the other thing is we have, and I'm going to thank Colleen in advance. She's my partner, my new partner, EPNC. And I say in advance, but you know what? She's already done it. She is the Polio Plus chair for, guess what? District 7600. So congrats to Colleen, and keep up the good work. I want to thank the district leadership, that's DGs, DRFCs, PPCs, because they get the message out for polio in their districts, and especially those districts that did 20%. And all the club members and their great generosity that they give to polio. And just so in case anybody's wondering why we give, that's why we give. And I'm going to turn the microphone over to my partner EPNC in Zone 34, Lindsay.
Thank you, Bernie. And thank you all for joining us today. I'm going to go through some of the Zone 34 numbers. I should preface this by saying, as Jeremy and Sean Patty can attest, in the Caribbean, we're known for being last minute, but some of these numbers are very different in the final June 30th form than you're going to see on the screen, because they came in literally in the last week of June. So they're not reflected yet in the official reporting, but I'll do my best to update you on where we think we're going to end up. So we have 14 districts, a little bit smaller than 33, 774 clubs, and just under 31,500 members. Of those the districts, 8, this was at the end of May, had given at least 20% to in DDF to the polio effort, and we have projected as many as 11. I can tell you for sure that that will be 12. In fact, because we've seen the latest submissions of DDF allocation forms, and 13 of the 14 districts have given something to Polio Plus effort. So we're fairly happy with that. We also have the goals on how do we end up doing on the average of $60 per member cash and DDF. It came in apparently at $47.14 before we got some donations in the last week of June. That donation was mentioned at the outset of the presentation. Considerable cash injection of $600,000 from a member in District 6910. So congratulations to them. That will turn this number somewhere over $70 per member. So we will exceed the goal of 60 once the final report is in. The average of 45 on cash alone is 37.56 before that big donation. That'll take it up to 47.70 by my estimation. And then average $1,500 per club with cash only. We ended up just shy of the $1,500 before the end, but with that donation, we will now be at $3,070 or thereabouts. So we really had a very successful end of June drive on the fundraising. Okay, so that and these numbers are all completely different now, obviously. The 1.15 million in cash is somewhere close to 1.9 million now, with additional donations that came in at the end, and the DDF has got another 100+ thousand that was committed to it, thanks largely to the efforts made either in Melbourne or at the leadership seminar in Jacksonville at the end of June. At which, between those two things, we got 5 districts to commit additional DDF to the effort. So thanks very much to my colleagues, Kim, the two Kims actually, Kim Walden and Kim Waters, who were very instrumental in helping us attain those results. So that brought in 1.4 or thereabouts in cash and DDF for the year. And similar to Bernie's slide, when you take in all of the matching opportunities that come in through World Fund and the Gates Foundation, we will ostensibly be at 4.7 million, but with what we know has happened since then, that number is actually going to be somewhere around $7.7 million when all of the dust settles. On the various performances by districts, 6910 basically moves to the top of each of these charts now with their donor in the last part of June. So these charts were going to change quite dramatically. But similar to Bernie, we want to thank everybody in various districts in Zone 34 for their significant commitment to eradicating polio, and particularly, thinking of the percentage change. And you see some of these districts, the top 5 in change is over 50% more than they did in the previous year. So that doesn't happen by accident. A lot of people have put a lot of good effort in the last year. And one of the biggest successes I think we've had, and I'm sure Bernie can attest to this as well, is the wider adoption of the Polio Plus Society as an idea. And generally, this helps every club attain that $1,500 goal quite easily. It can be any amount you want, but essentially what we have seen, particularly in North America, is that districts will introduce a Polio Plus Society that asks for a minimum of $100 per year until we eradicate polio. And this has been a huge success, certainly in the districts that I'm responsible for. So we want to thank the members for taking that up, and we want to thank particularly Kim Walden and all the work that she's done to push this and to make it more accessible through social media, etc. It's been a great enhancer to giving to polio from Zone 34, as well as the entire Rotary world, I dare to say. So as you can see here, there's a number of ways of doing it. It's very straightforward, simple. You go to donate at the End Polio site, and then do the recurring donation through Rotary Direct, and you can just about forget about it until we get the job done. So with that, similarly to Bernie, it's kids that are of the world that we made a promise to almost 40 years ago now. And we are going to keep that promise and eradicate this horrible disease from the face of the earth. And I thank everyone in 34 and who's also helped with it for all their participation in the past year and what you're going to do in this year coming. Don't forget World Polio Day in October, the adoption of World's Greatest Meals, the Polio Plus Society, of course. And the latest thing that a lot of people are having fun with is the Polio Plus Society Kennel Club, where dogs are actually joining, if you can believe it or not. So thank you very much. And I'm going to hand off now to David Rao, the EMGA, who's going to take it from here. David?
Thank you, Lindsay. I've been told to kind of keep it brief, that we're a little bit behind on time, so I'll try to go through this rather rapidly. I'd like to introduce Beth. She's new to the team this year, and she's replacing Chuck Arneson, and I believe Chuck is on this call. And Chuck, I really want to thank you for helping me during my first year last year, and also working with Beth during this coming year. So this is our team for 33 and 34. You can see Beth and myself, along with the major gifts officers. As you see, Beth, my responsibilities are basically we're volunteer fundraisers to help work with Rotarians, to help Rotarians reach their goals, whether it become a major donor, a special gift, anything with the Legacy Society, those types of things. And then we work hand in hand with these major gift officers, 3 of them in Zone 33. You see with John, Aaron, and Lori, and then Deborah Lowe. I work hand in hand mostly with her in Zone 34. One thing I'd like to just touch on today pretty briefly is basically about something you might not know about, and it's called Share Forever. So thank you. We are very excited to share some new resources that will help Share Forever by unlocking permanent source of district designated funds for your support, favorite support year after year. Reoccurring support of the Rotary Foundation's annual fund makes an impact today. Big or small, a gift to the annual fund provides vital support to people who need our help and need it now. Every year that we give, we make a difference in our communities and around the world. You might not know that there's additional way to give through to give, and that's through the endowment. Gifts through the endowment are nurtured to provide steady funding to our favorite Rotary programs the safe life-changing programs that we support with our annual gifts. The endowment can also magnify the level of support over time. Think of it as planting seeds and growing apples, many, many more apples. Your Rotary legacy is tribute to your generosity, your vision, your dedication to service, and to your core values. Rotary's endowment will ensure that you never stop doing good in the world. Supporting the endowment is different from other giving. Gifts to the endowment supply perpetual funding, whereas other kinds of contributions are used in full. The Rotary Foundation's goal is to build endowment for greater security. This example shows a gift to the endowment and how they're invested and professionally managed to provide ongoing support to Rotary's local and global humanitarian efforts without spending the initial gift. As you can see, in '97, the $25,000 gift has turned into a market value currently today of $32,619. And each year, $1,000 have spun off of this particular gift. So the cumulative spending has been over $30,000. So basically a gift of 25 can yield $1,000 in spendable earnings every year, the same level of support as a Paul Harris Society member does, but forever. And that's the key about the endowment fund. You may also choose to direct some of the spendable earnings of your gift or commitment through the district through share. The effect of this is the same as if you were giving gifts to yourself each year, but you're doing it forever. The goal for the endowment fund is in 2025 is 2.025 billion, or 2025. And as you can see by this chart, you can see where we're at in reference to trying to attain this goal. So it's very important that we continue to give monies to the endowment fund so we can contribute and make sure we reach these goals. Last year, the endowment produced 27.3 million in spendable earnings for the Rotary programs, the highest level of support to date. When we reach our goal in 2025, and with your help, we will, the endowment is projected to generate 50 million every year in spendable earnings. Can you imagine that? 50 million every year to go to doing good works throughout the world. And that money will continue to grow every year. Through the endowment, you'll create a permanent pipeline of district designated funds as well, allowing future leaders to budget year after year. This goal allows us to dream bigger so we can show the world what it means to do good, how to do it well, and the power of doing it together. This, I'd like to thank you for giving me a little bit of time. The last thing I would like to talk to is for the district leaders real quick. If there's a report, it's called the Endowment Fund Update. And you can go out, if you're DFRC or DG or DGE, you can go out and pull out this report. And what it will show you, it'll show you what funds you have already that are endowed within your district. And it'll also show you the amount of DDF that you're getting back each year to do good works in your communities and around the world. So with that, I'll pass it over to Art. Thank you.
Thanks, Dave. I'm going to take a minute to talk about the summit for 2023, Recharge Rotary Style, where Atlantis in the Bahamas, an incredible property on an appropriately named Paradise Island in Nassau. No, that is not a picture of Barry Rasson's house. That is where we'll be partying in October. When Leadership Learning begins October 24th, the summit starts on the 26th and it concludes on the 29th. Who's going to be there, you ask? How about the RI president, Gordon McNally? Boy, I'm not scoring any points with that. The Rotary Foundation trustee chair, our own Barry Rasson. As you might imagine, a considerable number of RI staff, because we're in a beautiful location in a warm climate this year. Great speakers, our governor corps for the current year, and some of our future leadership, those identified by their district as being ready to serve beyond the club, our next generation of leaders. Not in that group, knock on your DG's door. Tell them you're interested in something like this. We hope to open the summit up to a great audience, a greater audience, even beyond what I just described. But until we get everybody registered that is supposed to be there, that's the Governor Corps and some other folks, the emerging leaders who I'm referencing, we can't open it up. But stay tuned. Watch on both DACDB and Jeremy's, Jeremy's announcements, and stay tuned. And we're going to tell you when that can happen. We're going to have workshop style breakouts, the hospitality to the Bahamas, and so much more. Are you registered? Have you secured your room at the Atlantis? Yes, there are rooms, but you may find it challenging to get shoulder dates as a bunch of our attendees are taking the opportunity to spend extra time in paradise. Get registered. Don't wait. We're filling up fast. Challenges registering? Let us know. Registered for one and not the other, hotel and not the event? Please get them both done. And some of you will get a call because we'll see you registered for the event. Maybe you're buddying up with somebody to stay with them in the hotel. We might call you and verify that because we're trying to make sure everyone's got a room. Thanks so much. We want to see you in Atlantis. Chris, take it to the house, my friend.
Thanks a lot, Art. All right, some upcoming events, relatively light calendar between here and our next Zoomformation. July 11th, Zones 33, 34 Rotary Works Career Communications. July 24th at 6 p.m. Public Image Meet the Team webinar. And August 14th, Zones 33, 34 Membership Action Plan webinar. All right, a lot of you guys are still jet lagged from Australia. Make sure your passports are current and start planning for Singapore. That's May 2024. That's going to be the 25th through the 29th. All right, and our next Zoomformation meeting is going to be August 7th at 1 p.m. You guys will be able to use the same link. It will be recirculated, and we'll look forward to seeing you guys there. All right, we know we've run a little bit long. We're going to go ahead and open our breakout rooms. We are going to have a hard out in 15 minutes. So you'll have 15 minutes to ask follow-up questions for our polio team, foundation, public image, and you can meet with RI Director Jeremy in that breakout. So I'm going to go ahead and open those, and you guys will have the opportunity to choose your room. If you have trouble choosing your room, myself or Art will help you find one. All right, that's all, folks.